Hello and welcome to the Two Robbies Podast, your destination for in-depth discussion and analysis of the Premier League. I'm Robbie Mustoe, he's Robbie Earle, and here are today's topics. Mohamed Salah steals the headlines with a bombshell post-match interview following Liverpool's thrilling 3-3 clash with Leeds United. Aston Villa blow the title race wide open as Emi Buendia's 95th minute winner moves Unai Emery's men within 3 points of league leaders Arsenal, and Manchester City cruised to a 3-0 win over Sunderland, closing the gap to just 2 points behind the Gunners. That's what we have coming up in today's episode.
Well, my friend, we are going to start at Ellen Road because there was plenty of drama on the pitch and there was plenty of drama off the pitch. Let's start. We're going to start with the game.
Yeah. Because
that was what took place first, and quite, I think, incredible that this game at half-time, I believe, was 0-0 at half-time. Yeah. And then we get 6 goals and we get a epic run of proportions we've not seen. But let's get to the football. Let's get to Liverpool being 2-0 up, thinking that they've gone the game. Leeds coming back, as we've seen. Liverpool being 3-2 up and Leeds coming back again. Is this just another consequence of a Liverpool team that can't defend well, that can't control the opposition, that at the moment are unreliable and inconsistent?
Yeah, I think so, Rob. I think the first half was, the main takeaway from the first half was okay from Liverpool. Lacked creativity, lacked a little bit of quality, lacked a little bit of sparkle, lacked a little bit of energy. Maybe understandable when your form was not very good and the confidence is a little low. But the goals did come. Hugo Ekitike, again, Robbie looked just lively, comfortable, looked a good option as a striker, takes goals really, really well. Szoboszlai takes his goal really well as well. Nice bit of build-up, a little bit of quality for that goal. And, we've been led to believe and to, but I was, of course, watching it with our own eyes, that Liverpool's kind of problems has been keeping clean sheets and stop goals going in. And the thought process has been from the manager that, okay, we've got to change. And we would agree with that. We've got to change the structure of the team. We've got to put Joe Gomez back in. We've got to maybe take Mo Salah out of the side a little bit and stiffen things up in midfield with Szoboszlai playing in a wider role, just to go back to basics a little bit. And to be fair, it's looked a little better. Yeah. I'll throw it over as a question. Have we got it wrong all along, Robbie Earle? And is the defensive issues more about individual poor play, poor performance, basic errors of defenders? Because we saw it all again. Ibrahim Konate is going to get a ton of stick today, I'm sure, from both of us for what he did, the rash challenge for the penalty, the unexplained dropping off of Anton Stach as he takes the ball and brings it inside and scores. Have we got it wrong all along? Rob, is this really an individual defender's sloppiness that's costing Liverpool this season?
For me, Rob, it's both. I don't think it's just one or the other. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think it's both. I think as a team, you see things collectively where people aren't working in unison, and that becomes a problem. One of the strengths of Arne Slot's team was controlling the opposition, stopping them getting looks at goal. That's gone. That doesn't feel right, whether it's from the structure, from the top of the pitch down. But I would agree, these individual errors, these defenders basically not playing well enough. Yeah. And I suppose if I'm possibly Mo Salah sitting on the sideline and I want to have a go, I might be saying, well, look out there, because this guy keeps making mistakes week on, week out, and he keeps getting picked, and I'm not. So I think it's a combination of two. I kind of feel we're at the place with Konate, Rob, that you need to get him out of the team for his own good. I think he's short. I think he's in his own head. A couple of times you see him looking around and he doesn't look like he's quite in the right place mentally or focus-wise. He makes a silly challenge, as you've said, on Gnotto, to give Leeds hope, to stir the fans, to give them belief. He doesn't defend the situation when Stack backs off, allows space, all of a sudden they concede. And whether he's undermining Virgil van Dijk, who's not playing particularly well either, it's hard for us to say. But I think, Rob, we're at a stage where, regardless of what the manager thinks about the group and keeping it together and the rhythm and the thing, we're now at the stage where, hold on, you're making too many mistakes that are costing us goals, you have to come out of the team.
And that's Joe Gomez then, coming in for Konate, Rob. That's what I would kind of what you're saying there. And by the way, I agree. I agree. At some point, I know they can try and change people around, certain players. I mean, the two centre-backs, given the changes at fullback for Liverpool, the two players really that you need to be top of the game is Virgil van Dijk and Konate. And they haven't been. They just haven't been. Maybe because of the team changes and the fullback changes. The other thing, Rob, on that, before we move on to other things, is set pieces again, Rob. Now, that's 10 set pieces conceded. Only Nottingham Forest have conceded more so far this season. From the champions, I mean, how is that? How does it keep happening? And who is mostly to blame for the continuing struggles at set pieces?
Well, how does it keep happening is a case of either not enough work being done on the training ground.
So that would be the manager.
The manager, or lack of responsibility when you're given a job. And we've talked about this before, Rob, and we've both been in teams where basically your name's on a team sheet, a board, in the dressing room next to a player. So it might have Earle and I have Mustoe, and I know every corner kick I got to pick you up, and I know my job is to stop you scoring goal. And if you end up scoring a goal and I go in that dressing room, I expect to get hammered by my teammates and the manager. That's pretty simple, Rob. So one of those two ain't happening, and where you say where does it fall? Ultimately, it will fall on the manager.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the continued issues is never a good look for the manager.
Can I throw one other as well? And I know this might go not very popular for lots of people. Also, my captain out there, Rob, every set piece. I'm the captain of the football club. I've worn the armband, and you haven't, and know that every now and then, if things weren't going, you rally round before the ball comes in. Oi, come on, get on your toes, get ready. Oi, at the back. You get everybody up for it, Rob.
Yeah, I agree.
So, we love Virgil, and he's a great captain. He's been a brilliant player for Liverpool, but in these difficult times, I want a little bit more from him, mate. I'm asking a little bit more for those around those things.
Let's just dig a little deeper on that. I think it's a great point. When I see Virgil van Dijk, maybe his demeanour, Rob, maybe his style as a captain is it's very aggressive. It seems like what are you doing, and throwing his arms up and growling at people and giving people dirty looks, and instead of come on, encouraging. I as a player, and when I was captain, that was just the way I did things. That's the way I thought worked better. I mean, there might be a couple that you have to give a little bit of a harder line because of the way that they are. But for the most part, I found that, okay, come on, encouraging, go and see them, get in their face a little bit, cajoling. I mean, does it matter how a captain does it, Rob? I mean,
It doesn't, Rob. I think also in different times. I hear you. Some of the great captains we've seen and played against. The Roy Keanes, the Tony Adams, John Terry's probably the last of that game. You got that sense from them. You're looking at Odegaard. You look at different players now. I think they might do it. They're different personalities, so it's got to be done in a different way. But whatever way it's got to be done, Rob, something's got to happen. Something's got to change. You say to be champions, to concede 10 goals from set pieces. You're going to Leeds United, newly promoted. It's incredible. That doesn't give you a chance.
Yeah. Let's switch over to Leeds United real quick, Rob, before we move on to some of the post-match stuff. I still continue to be impressed by the club, the players, the team, the managers changed things a little bit. You continue with the three at the back, which struggled initially, made some changes in the second half. I thought the game changed when he brought on the attacking players. I get that you're going to be more defensive-minded early on when you're playing a team like Liverpool, but I think it was 65 minutes, Rob. Tanaka, Aronson and Mustoe come on, and they all pretty much had an impact. Big impact, of course, from Mustoe to earn the penalty. Tanaka score the equalising goal late on. We know that there's a sense of pressure on the manager because of his history of not doing great in the Premier League with the teams that he's brought up. Does this, for how long does this appease? How much credit does it buy? That this was, at Ellen Road is such a great atmosphere, so noisy. They get behind the team. I feel like crack on, get behind the guy. Let's stick together and see if we can. I mean, they're out of it right now. The 16th spot is very tight down there, but that's got to give the fans encouragement and the board that he's the right guy.
But let's just remember, Rob, the last three games have come off Manchester City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Not been embarrassed by either.
No, close against City.
Close against
Beat
City
Chelsea.
3-2, beat Chelsea 3-1, and have just drawn with Liverpool 3-3. That's got to give you hope that we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And you make a great point, and it was also ties into the Canate challenge. When he makes the challenge and the penalty is given, and Leeds United fans get involved in the game and get behind that team, they're a different team to deal with. Really absolutely different animal. Now, if Leeds United fans can stay behind this manager and get behind this team, and there might be a little something done in January to see where we might have a few deficiencies, and they continue to go at it in the way they've go at it, Rob, they've got a competitive chance. I'm not going to say they're going to be clear by a certain time. They've got a competitive chance. Now, for the guy who's brought you up, with no guarantee that you change him and somebody else does a better job, surely you've got to let this guy see it out as far as we go. Let's get into the new year. Let's have a look at the window. Let's try and turn things around. He's shown tactically that he understands. I think his experiences in the Premier League in the past stand him in good stead, because he knows what comes when and where after Christmas, the type of games. And not least, Rob, I think he deserves the opportunity to be given more time.
Yeah. Let's hope so, Rob. I mean, it's a thrilling game of football, Rob, and of course a game of football that didn't see Mohamed Salah coming onto the field of play. And I think when I think reports say that when Mo Salah kind of says, "Hang on a minute, guys, I'm going to come over and chat with you," to the media guys, something's happened. That those guys are licking their lips. They got their phones all ready to go, because he's done this before, of course, with contracts and kind of got things revved up a little bit. He's a little bit mischievous with that stuff in the past. You know, the club haven't spoke to me about a new contract. I want to stay here, etc., etc. So at certain times he has history of just using the media a little bit to get his thoughts across. Now, this happened again, and maybe some of our viewers and listeners didn't catch what he said. Please search it online if you've not got the transcript of what he said, or I'm sure the video's out there, Rob. But it was an incredible statement of his own disappointment. It's hard to kind of paraphrase, but it was sort of things like, I don't know what's going to happen. There were certain promises that I was told to when I signed my contract. I'm on the bench. They've not kept their premises. I've earned the right to have my time, to my place in the side. You know, I had a good relationship with Arne Slot. No more. I have no relationship with him. The things that I've done for this club over years, and then he kind of talked about his parents coming to the Brighton game, because it might be the time where he says goodbye before he goes to the African Cup of Nations. So,
and then he threw in the African Cup of Nations, which was very mischievous as well.
Yeah, so
let me tell you as well, just before we get into it, let me tell you what happened, and I've read it in a couple of reports. After he'd finished the rant, it obviously went on for how long, and it was predetermined, and obviously knew what he was doing. He basically said, "Thank you to all the press guys. Thank you." Like,
as if that's what
I wanted. That's what I've got out. And thank you for listening. Now you go and do your thing. Go and publish it, because he absolutely knew what the effects of this were going to be.
Yeah. And the first thing to say, Rob, before we get into it is, and because it you know, I always feel, you know, we're going to say strong words probably about Mo Salah. Please, everybody out there, don't underestimate how certainly I feel about him as a player, as a legend, one of the best ever players to play for Liverpool Football Club. There's no arguments there. I'm reacting, and we're going to react to these words and why he said them, what it means. And for me, Rob, I mean, I'll let you go first, because I had my say on the show today, but very disappointing, very sad, I thought, how this might look like it's ending. But we haven't heard your take, my friend. Give me some of your headlines.
I'm the same as you, and I think the first important thing to say is, you know, I'm a Mo Salah fan. What he's done in this league, where he scored, how he's created this new position that's a wide player tucking in, that's scoring goal, is incredible. So we have to put all that. But that doesn't alter what's said, why it was said, and what I think about it, Rob. First of all, what I would say is the line about, I don't every day have to be fighting for my position because I've earned it.
I know.
Is one of the worst lines I've ever heard a professional say. I've got to be honest, mate.
No, you're right.
And why do I say that? And you'll know this as much as I do, and many of our listeners and viewers who may not always have been in a dressing room or a professional dressing room. There's a natural order in a dressing room, Rob, that stands. So everybody in the dressing room kind of knows who's the captain, who's the leader,
who's the best player,
who's the guys who's going to score your winners, who's the guys who are going to work on. That naturally fits. Everybody understands that. You don't blast it in people's face, but you kind of know. We signed Johnny Alton for $5 million from West Ham at Wimbledon. We kind of know he's a top guy and he's going to come score goals. Everybody accepts that. That's the rule of the world. But you're never in a position, Rob, where you can come into a dressing room and don't have to earn it, where you're invincible, where you want to have that position regardless of whatever's happening on the team or in the dressing room or anywhere else. That just does not happen, and that will not happen. And Mo Salah, as great as he is no bigger than the football club and the dressing room and the other players. Because the problem that Liverpool have, if they don't deal with this in a strong manner, Virgil van Dijk at some time might change, and Gravenberch might have his go, and all of a sudden the players are running the football club, and you've got no chance. You've got absolutely no chance.
I mean, think of the other players that have been left out and have to get on with it, and not that you're absolutely right, Rob. It's a good point. Of all the things that we know in a dressing room, there's nobody thinks they're undroppable. And when surely the self-awareness, Rob, of his performance level since signing this new contract and what he's done and how the team is playing, he surely must realise that literally nobody is safe from being left out the side. And we and it's not as though it was a huge surprise. We both agreed, Rob, that Mo Salah probably, for the good of the team, maybe just sits a little while whilst we get a bit of a stronger foundation, get defensively stronger again, and because he doesn't, if he's not doing his thing going forward, he's not great for you defensively. So it was understandable. Now let me throw you this one, Rob, because one of our colleagues we just chatted about it in the corridor before coming on, and he said, listen, I saw what you said, very hard words towards Mo Salah. The only thing, what if the manager, the coach, on a stop this time, left him out the side and didn't say anything to him? We don't know how he did it, right? And I'm not trying to give Mo Salah out here, but is there any way that the manager's kind of demeanour or the way that he potentially pulled him out the side, maybe just left him out and didn't say anything? Again, I can't think of a scenario where Mo Salah is justified to go to the sideline and saying, I've broken promises and I have no relationship and I've been here, all the things I've done for this club, and I'm going to go to the African Cup of Nations now and I don't know whether I'm going to ever play again. There's nothing. But is there anything? What? Give me something that might justify this outburst.
I mean, that's an interesting angle, whether they feel. What I would say, Rob, is, I don't know, down the road, I didn't work for Sir Alex, didn't work under Wenger, whatever. Managers have dropped players, Rob, and players have to get on with it.
Whichever way it's done. Whichever way it's done.
The world we're in, whether I'm calling you in or whether do you remember in back the good old days, you used to have, like, the manager would just pin the team on the board, and you'd look down and see if you were on, and if your name was on the bench, you'd have to wait till Monday, you'd go in and see him and say, why wasn't I playing, gaffer?
Yeah, I walked in the dressing room, Rob, and the whole squad goes in the dressing room, and the shirts are there with the boots underneath the shirts. I'm like, mine's not here. All right, I guess I'm not playing then.
Like, if you forgot me, Gaffer, you forgot something.
Where are my boots? Where's my shirt? Like,
it happens, Rob. So I'm not saying that he doesn't. I'm not saying Mo Salah would be unhappy, and maybe he feels he deserves a different way of dealing. But there's a way of doing it, mate. There's absolutely a way of dealing with that, and he hasn't. And when there was another line, and we're paraphrasing a few, and I wanted to take the strong lines. You and Dicko spoke really well on it, I thought, this morning on the show. Said he had a good relationship with the manager. All of a sudden, I don't have any relationship. It seems to me someone doesn't want me at the club. That was another kind of part. So basically, let me tell you right now what Mo Salah's doing. He's pitting himself against the manager.
Correct.
Liverpool Football Club, who's more important?
Right.
Absolutely chucked it out there.
Yes. It's like me or the manager. And my understanding.
And Liverpool, I believe, are too classy.
They are.
Or too big a club to allow this to happen.
No, absolutely no chance.
I would have thought between now, the ownership, the football structure and the manager are talking about how they deal with this, Rob. They've got a game midweek, haven't they, in the Champions League?
Yeah, Tuesday.
It's
Inter away.
On Tuesday, Inter Milan away. Yeah. So he's going to have to do a press conference tomorrow, Rob, on a slot, whether it's just about the game. And listen, he's got to be ready for some difficult questions, and he's got to come with, I think, some answers. I'll tell you what I would do straight away, Rob, and I know this might gain Liverpool fans who will talk about what Salah's done and he's a legend and all that. I get it, but Steven Gerrard doesn't do this, mate. Steven Gerrard is a legend of the football club. He doesn't do this.
No, of course
if
not.
it's me, Rob, he doesn't play and he doesn't travel in any of the next 2 games.
Wow.
He doesn't play and he doesn't travel.
Wow. Yeah, I don't mind
the next
it.
2 games.
I don't mind it.
It shuts it down. It shuts it down.
And he won't get the say goodbye that he
There's no pictures of him
wants.
on the bench, or if he's happy or if he's not. There's no pictures with his thing. He's crossed the line for me. He doesn't play. We wait till the AFCON. If he goes away, we come back and we have a fresh conversation when he comes back.
Rob, this is so sad, right? Because I'm agreeing with what your take there, and that's sad that it might be the way that his career finishes. There's so many other ways he could have done this, Rob. There's so many other ways. Knock on the door, go and see him, have it out with the manager. You know, and the most. I mean, maybe I'm flipping old-fashioned, mate, but in the old days. Right? How about fighting for your place? How about fighting for your teammates? How about fighting for the fans that are suffering some awful performances and roll your sleeves up and kind of just look back and say, right, I haven't played well, my numbers aren't good. I'm gonna fight to get back in. Obviously, he feels he's above that he shouldn't have to fight for his place. He's earned his right and he shouldn't have to do that. That's the saddest thing for me. And I mean, wow, not to how's it going to resolve, Rob? Because we know what's going on now. They've got the Champions League game on in the week. They're Brighton away at the weekend, at home at Anfield at the weekend. Then he's off to the African Cup of Nations. Yeah. Is this a play of, I'm not playing great, the manager doesn't really like me, we're not having a great season, maybe it's time that I move on somewhere else. Yeah. Saudi Arabia are like, there's plenty of clubs in Saudi that, here we go. Is our chance.
The fee. We'll pay him $1 million a year.
Yeah, and Liverpool Football Club are like, this is kind of okay.
Yeah.
Like we haven't been playing well. We're not sure the manager thinks he's one of the favourites, and we're paying him a fortune. There's some money as a transfer fee, and he gets what he wants.
Correct.
It kind of seems, in a weird way, a win for the Saudi clubs, a win for the player who wants to go away and be the main man. And maybe a little win for the football club that get their investment back and what they spent in this mega contract, and they go again. And this Arne Slot team, Rob, becomes a rebuild. Not expected, but it's a proper rebuild with Arne Slot being the man to do it.
Love where you're going, Robbie Mustoe. I want to also give you a couple of other scenarios I just want you to factor in. And again, I don't know if they're happening. I'm not saying Mo Salah is this type of player. I'm saying what can happen in the dressing room. I and you have been in dressing rooms when an experienced leader, big-time player is unhappy and being dropped in his grizzly, in his playing up in training, and they change the whole atmosphere in a football club. Now, let me just say, if I'm Florian Wirtz and I'm Isaac and other people who have come in and this isn't what I thought, and this is a bit
awkward.
Could that, in a slightly way, be a bit awkward? And I'm not getting the best of me, and the manager's been. And I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying I've seen that happen in dressing rooms I've been in. Rob.
Absolutely.
And we don't know if in a slightest way, and in the most respectful way I can say it about Mo Salah, for all the goals and all he's done, maybe we're at the time where the move might be better for everybody.
It's a great point. Of course, you're speculating, but that's what we're here to do, mate.
Speculating.
It's what we're here to do. And I can list off people now that were very awkward in our club, said things that peed off everybody at the club, and there was an awkward atmosphere. And if he's moping around, given what his thoughts are, why am I not in the team? Like this, what of all I've done for the club, he's going to be moody. You're absolutely right. And that dressing room, Rob, what is that dressing room like? Virgil van Dijk's been a moody bear with a sore head. You've got players coming in that haven't really worked out very well. Alexander Isak that went down tools to get to his club to Liverpool and hasn't worked out. But the Mo Salah, that's a really interesting... again, we don't know what's going on in that dressing room. Nobody will know that, apart from them themselves.
I'm just saying, in dressing rooms I've been in, on 3 or 4 occasions, there's been times when the whole mood has been changed by one experienced player who was unhappy.
Well, we will find that out as soon as he leaves the dressing room and leaves the club. Now, if Arne Slot and the club decide, Chelsea style, You're going to go to the other dressing room with the youth. You're not going to be involved now before. Then there might feel an instant kind of like sense of...
doesn't the January window now become quite important if that's what they wanted to do? Because let me also throw you another slight curveball that might just... All of a sudden, a few weeks ago, Antoine Semenya's release clause was named.
Yeah, of course.
Was noted. Now, if you could raise the money for Salah from a Saudi sale and go and get Antoine Semenya.
Similar money, probably. 65,
very similar, 60, 65, some way or the other. Might you be in a not worse position, because Semenya is not Salah, and Salah is an incredible, outstanding Liverpool player.
But he doesn't go on forever. He can't go on forever.
No, it doesn't. And this can't go on forever, Rob. This undermining a manager cannot go on at a football club that's underperforming anyway, that needs some sorting out, and then you have your best, most dangerous player really going to the club. It's me or the manager.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, Rob. Right, and maybe this is the start of something very different for Liverpool. Unexpected, being the champions, but maybe this is start of a very different 2.0 from Arne Slot. That's going to have a little bit of time. It might. I think that's a good shout with Antoine Semenyo. Plays right side, actually can play anywhere. Is a good age. Is a good profile of a player for Liverpool. Maybe it's the start of something else, something different. Two quick, and we've spoke so much about it, Rob. I want two quick, other little quick ones here. How do you feel the fans feel about it? And the biggest question of all is, does he play again for Liverpool? Leave that one later. How are the fans going to feel about this, Rob? There'll be a bunch of fans that are with him, by the way.
I think they'll be split. I think there's definitely a bunch of fans who are with him, and the fans who are with him, I think, will generally and not be the younger fans who've known Mo Salah, have seen the goals, who've seen, was he fourth in the Premier League goal scoring, third, I think, in Liverpool's history. What we've seen, 28 goals, 18 assists last season, mate. You just don't replace that easily. But there's a line you drop. So I think it'd be pretty split. I think they will believe that Arne Slot has to do the right thing for the football club, because this is about Liverpool first. And however hard and difficult it might be, I think in the end the Liverpool fans will come on side.
And I think Arne Slot, Rob, it's still fresh enough in their memories of a Premier League title. We were at Anfield to see that atmosphere and that trophy lift. To not think,
without a title, mate, it might be a little bit different. He might be packing his bags.
So what you're saying earlier, Rob, you feel like he is not going to play again for Liverpool?
Well, I would say I don't think he'll play again before, or I certainly wouldn't play him before the AFCON nation. I think that gives everybody a chance that he's away. I'm sure this will be communication between him and his agent, whatever, and there may be decision on.
It's going to leave, isn't it? Why would the Saudi clubs be any different, Rob? Why would they be any different of what they've thought in the past that they would do anything to bring Mo Salah to Saudi and their pro league there? So that would seem like the most likely outcome, but it's such a... I mean, we've spent a lot of time on that, but it's an amazing story.
In my head, I was thinking about, Rob, the only other thing as well is, like, you chuck him out against Inter, or you chuck him out against him and go on then.
I don't think he'll be in a right frame of mind to play. I
don't know either, but it was just a...
Yeah.
Listen, we'll see on Tuesday night, and we'll see next weekend, isn't it? Liverpool got Wolves, I think, next weekend, so... Maybe we'll see that, but plenty to come more in that saga. But fascinating stuff. Mo Salah coming out with after the game against Leeds. Let's go to Villa Park, my friend. Where first game of the weekend. Aston Villa in super form. Arsenal, ticking along, but not quite the lead at the top of the table they would like. And some would say going to form, Aston Villa end up beating Arsenal 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think. I called it another durability test. Given the week or so they've had, Arsenal have had some big games, big emotional games. We know about Saliba and Gabriel, the best central defensive partnership in the Premier League, are both out. Correct. We then learned that Christian Mosquera was out as well. So you saw Jurrien Timber come inside, Ben White, who hasn't played a lot of football, to the right-hand side. And we were, of course, with Lee Dixon, the former Arsenal legend defender. And I think we both kind of agreed that they were so pulled around defensively.
Stretched.
And it's like... go into Villa Park that are on fire, that are in great form, that have got all their main forwards. I think it's probably the best team for Aston Villa that showed up against Arsenal. And when you got some important players out and your schedule, I just thought it was a chance that they might get. I actually thought they'd probably get a draw, but they lost the game and didn't really create enough.
No.
Any other reason? Like, was there any other signs in the game that Arsenal fans should be? I mean, of course they won't be thrilled that the gap's closed between them and Man City.
Yeah.
But there's any other signs in the defensive kind of difficulties to worry about for the Gunners fans?
You're right. I did the same. I thought they got stretched a little bit, Rob, in areas, and Villa can find them pockets. I thought Tielemans was excellent for Villa, finding space and dominating game. Rodgers' runs were causing problems, as you say. Ben White hasn't played that much football. Timber playing in is centre back.
He didn't look comfortable. No, Timber positionally.
Didn't quite look himself. Which it's going to be different, isn't it? Especially against a team like Villa, who play really well and absolutely brilliantly set up by a manager. Rob, it was interesting the Eze one without Trossard, and he lets Cash go on the far side and. Just thought, as I was on the edge of things again, I saw he had 13 touches in the first half, fewest of any player.
Yeah.
I know that Martinelli and just wondered if it was where maybe a little bit more counter-attack pace might have been an option if we're not dominating the game with the technical play.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trossard comes on and does what he does and scores another important goal for Arsenal. I mean, to be fair, Rob, second half, they looked better. The control of the game was better.
Made a few more chances,
we were saying to Lee, like, every time Villa went forward, they looked like scoring. Arsenal never looked comfortable at defending phase of the game, but their general play and the way they moved the ball, they looked pretty safe in the second half. And going into the last kind of minutes of the match, it's like, okay, that's kind of a fair result for both sides. And of all the players, Rob, to be the hero on the day, Emi Buendia, the celebration, what it meant to him, and the difficulty he's had with big knee injury, and he's in and out the side. He's not really a regular starter. I mean, it was an amazing finish, and that Villa Park is we know what that's like, that stadium. Real fans getting behind the team, making it really, really noisy, and that's quite the result and quite the rebound for the manager, Unai Emery, that was so flat, so stale at the start of the season.
We couldn't believe, could we? The start of the season, was it 4 games with no goals, 5 games without a win,
and just the eye test. Looking at them, was like, what has happened to them? I remember saying that on our podcast. Like, what's going on there? So that's something else for a manager to turn that around. We've seen that multiple times when the manager never really fixes it and ends up, struggling, losing his job. So. Third place in the Premier League right now, Rob. A dramatic late win. What's that? 9 wins out of the last 10?
9 wins out of 10, 13 out of 15 all comps.
God.
I mean, brilliant work again.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, the thing, the sort of takeaway from Arsenal, and I don't want to harp on the same point of, like, there was a shot at the end, the Buendia shot, that was an absolute killer, last kick of the game, basically. You saw the celebrations. You saw, like, Raya fall to the floor, 4 or 5 players fall to the floor. I mean, a bit of a gap that they've had is gone down to 3 points. It kind of feels like this group are going to have to go and prove themselves again, Rob. I think there was 2-3 weeks ago, it's like, Arsenal are flying, Arsenal are this. Kind of feel like everybody's waiting now. City are closed up, Villa are 3 points behind. Late disappointments. They've scored some late winners and seen the benefit. What's going to happen off this late disappointment now?
Yeah, I mean, next weekend they've got Wolves at home, so maybe I can't assume anything, but I just feel that their schedule's been really difficult, from the North London derby to big Champions League games to Villa Park away. Crikey, it's been difficult. Long way to go, mate. There's another 23 games to go.
Without your back two as well.
Without the back two, so. Yeah, there's plenty of time. I still, it doesn't waver my thought about them being the best team in the league this year overall. We'll see. We'll get to Man City actually next chat and how they're looking. But it's certainly pulled it all together. It's a lot tighter. 2 losses now. Those losses that's another one tallied up. So but it's a great game, wasn't it? It was a great game of football, Villa Park.
Game of football.
And Villa deserve so much credit and the way that they're playing right now.
Absolutely, Unai Emery continues to cause them problems. Shows really what a good man. When you've got a good manager, mate, you keep hold of him, you give him time because he'll turn it around. Let's take it to the Etihad. City against Sunderland, one of the stories of the season. Manchester City 3, Sunderland 0. Diaz with a sort of Vincent Kompany-esque strike from distance, Gvardiol from a corner kick, and then Foden scores a header after a brilliant bit of play by Ryan Cherki. Rabona with some Luke O'Neill came on late and got a red card for something horrible
crazy
challenge. I don't really know what he was doing there. I think that's not the first time it's happened to him as well. But Manchester City, mate, the shadow kind of looms large again. Without maybe them being at their very best.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, they ain't far off their very best in terms of attacking and goal scoring, right? A few weeks ago, we said, Erling Haaland's goals, there's got to be other people to step up. Well, it's happening. Phil Foden looks like a different player. Looks like a different player. Looks like he's going to score in every single game. I think the goals from chipping in from different areas, of course, helps when defenders come forward and score as well. You look at the numbers, Rob, right now. Goals for, after 15 of all the teams now, 35 goals. Next best, I believe, is Arsenal with 28. So that side of the game and the big man up front, they're gonna score enough goals to win a title. The thing that's been holding them back, and we've questioned, is the defensive side of things. All I would say, Rob, if they find a way to figure that out and to improve it, and Roger will help when he's back, which isn't for a little while yet, I think, then Arsenal should be worried. Then Arsenal should be worried, because right now I am saying, well, they give up so many chances, and that's still recent. Like the last week, it's still recent.
Against Fulham. 5-4, is it?
So that's still there. All I'm saying is, if they get better on that, then they could go on a long run of winning games and scoring a lot of goals. So that, again, it's a big if, and maybe they can't. And maybe they're always going to be vulnerable. Maybe next week they're going to concede goals when you expect him to. But right now, second place in the league, 2 points behind, scoring a ton of goals. Their best players in top form. They're winning games easily again, Rob. They're winning games easily. And when City are purring at their best, they can win games, and not get a sweat on. And this was one of those games against Sunderland. And by the way, we know how strong Sunderland are.
Yeah, Sunderland ain't in a bad outfit set up, with a back five and difficult to play against. I also thought, Rob, that we kind of, and we mentioned it a little bit a couple of weeks ago, like we had the Doku day, didn't we, where it was like, against Liverpool, he was brilliant. And we've had a Foden days, and they seem to be becoming more consistent. It was a bit of a Cherki day, and it was interesting, Rob. So I've read a couple of things off the back of the game, looked at Pep, see what was saying. It's really interesting. One of the first things he said about Cherki, and then he brought Savinho on, is talked about how he needs them to keep working hard for the team. He said, despite the talent is the bit that they can do and I can't teach them. They have to come in and work hard for the team. And it's almost like, to your point, I know that we're going to score goals, the 35 already. They will score enough goals to win a title. Yeah. He needs to have players who will do the other things to make sure that they're not conceding. To win it back quickly,
that the Pep's best teams always do. The counter-press, where they win it back straight back.
Some of these young players probably are not quite at that level yet, where they switch straight on and they go and hunt it and win it.
Savinho, is still...
Reinders, maybe.
Still working with these guys. It's whether that can also, click into place pretty quickly. We'll see.
But, it's a City team that are purring, and if they're 2 points behind you, mate, you've got to start slightly looking over your shoulder. But next weekend, it's interesting. Arsenal at home to Wolves, which you would think is a home banker. City away to Palace, which is never an easy place to go. So, in the space of a day, that could look a little bit differently. But
I think that's it. I think that's going to be this league, mate. I think this league this year is unpredictable.
No one runs away with it.
There's tough games up and down this league table. Wherever you look, there's no gimmies. Of course, there's the odd blowout. City beating Sunderland pretty comfortably, but I mean the other games, Villa beating for Arsenal. The Liverpool game, the games where you might expect the big boys to win, they are not winning. It's that competitive, the league, which makes it great fun for everybody. And of course, you never know what's going to happen and who's going to come out on top.
Okay, mate, let's take you to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Tottenham don't win at home. And I think it was the first win after 16 attempts for Tottenham to beat Brentford. Thomas Frank against his old team, 2-0, with Charlison with the first goal, and Xavi Simons gets his first goal for Tottenham. Lovely run through midfield, and they backed off him, put it away nicely. Bit of boost for Thomas Frank after a little bit of the sort of stick they've had, the last week or two. It was a Spurs team, I believe, with a little bit more proactive, looking to give Simmons a little bit more license in midfield. And the Archie Gray did particularly well again. I was just reading a couple of people saying that, he's one that they've got to try to find a way to keep him in the team. A bit more proactive when he gets the ball, wants to play forward. But yeah, good win for Spurs. And Xavi Simmons getting his first goal, I think was important, Rob, for him, because obviously he's come in for a lot of money. Hasn't quite hit the ground running.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what the doctor ordered. I mean, it was such a big game. We talked about the potential atmosphere at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, given what they've had to endure in terms of their home form. The last Premier League home win was the first game of the season. That's a long time coming. But this was surprisingly good, surprisingly confident. Fair play to Thomas Frank. He's come out fighting a little bit. He had a lot of criticism, had a lot of personal stick with some of the things that he said, of course, with the booing of his goalkeeper. And there was no drama, Rob. There was no drama there. Really controlled, front foot, attacking football. For me, I'm like, please, let's keep that similar. I know there's going to be some rotations with European football coming up again, but the structure of the team, Koulibaly was, I didn't see it coming, but he was pushed out to the left-hand side.
To the left, wasn't he? Yeah.
And let me chuck in my underappreciated performer, because I'll put my hands up. I have underappreciated, and we have given a hard time to Xavi Simmons. This was a breakout game for Xavi Simmons in a performance that I didn't see coming. He has got a lot of stick. I've certainly given him as well. We've seen very little consistent excellence from the player. But this game, determined. He won his tackle a couple of times for his goal. He makes a good run. He's got good pace. The weight of the ball across for the first one for Richarlison was really, really good. So, I mean, he's a simple pick for me this weekend. Rob is underappreciated because, I haven't been thrilled by what he's done. But we'll always give credit where credit's due. We'll always say, fair play. Maybe, he's got more than what we've seen so far. Obviously, he has. Yeah. It was a big fee, but that's a breakout game for him, Rob. And I can't tell you how different he'll feel about himself. Can you imagine going into a new country, maybe a dream to play in the big club in the big Premier League, and him getting a bit of stick and like, where's this guy from? And to have a game like that is such a big deal. That buys him weeks. That buys him weeks of credit. Like, we know what he can do now. He's a young player. A great sign of what he can do. A great game for him. So I got to give him tip of the cap and give him my underappreciated performance this weekend.
Yeah, I like him, mate. Goal and assist in the game, actually. And obviously, I think it's important. It looks, Rob, so much better when he's in the 10. Doesn't look so good when he's in that outside positions. He can't get involved in the game. He looks like one of them who picks his rhythm up from the ball being around him and, having it played into his feet. So, it's a good shout. And we've talked about the difficulty of technical players coming in the Premier League and making a mark. So, good breakout game for him. And I'm sure Spurs fans are looking forward to see more of that over the coming weeks. Tell you, fans are looking for more of the coming weeks. Everton, my friend. Stadium, another 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche against his former team, Milenkovic, with the own goal. Tierno Barry, our boy, got himself his first Premier League goal, mate. Couldn't be more delighted.
Underappreciated. Exactly, fair play.
Yeah, couldn't be more delighted. And Keenan Dewsbury Hall, my friend, let me chuck this one at you. When he came on the show the other week and he was talking about his dream would be to play for England. I think there's just a few too many top-class midfield players.
Maybe.
But I tell you what, continue to do what he does. Yeah. And between now and March, Mr. Tuchel might just take a little look at him.
Well, I mean, love his form. Took a while for his career to really get going. This move's a brilliant move for him. I think we've talked about Iliman Ndiaye on one side, Jack Grealish and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. We haven't slept on this guy. We've pointed him out before because we know the sort of player that he is. He's a bit more robust than the average number 10. And he's making things happen. And as a number 10, making things happen means you're producing goals and you're producing assists. Yeah. And, I mean, Everton, Robbie Earle. I mean, David Moyes. I think we've had him underappreciated and stuff.
Sixth in the Premier League, aren't they? Sixth in the Premier League.
When he took over, right, that club was on its knees a little bit, struggling to Sean Dyche. He rescued them. And even in the first 2 weeks, I remember him saying, like, this is not where we want to be. We want to be at the other end, looking at those European spots. And I'm thinking at that point, Yeah, love it, and of course that's the right thing to say, and that's what the fans want to hear. I didn't think that we sat here after 15 games, more than a fair chunk of the season done. Yeah. And they're in 6th spot, Rob. They're closer, 4 points from 3rd place in the Premier League. It just shows you what a positive, an experienced manager. I tell you what, a new stadium does give you a boost. We played in a new stadium. It was magical playing in a new stadium in those initial seasons. And the story at Everton continues to be so positive when the Everton fans, Rob, for decades it seems, have been upset and disappointed with the drama at the club. And
let's not forget, mate, their best player, Jared Branthwaite, hasn't been fit.
Yeah.
Hasn't been fit.
And they've had striker issues. The strikers haven't been great. So it could,
and they've found a way to get the goals of wide players, his potential. I mean, it couldn't be. I don't think you could be happy if you're an Everton fan. And if somehow David Moyes can take these boys back to European football, I mean, that would be remarkable.
Incredible.
Absolutely remarkable. But continue to go well. Everton 3, Forest 0. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea just dropped off the pace. Another game where injury again to Liam Delap. I think the big news was Cole Palmer was back in the team, Rob, which is good news. Apparently, obviously, he's still finding his feet. I think 60-odd minutes he came off the game. But Chelsea just dipped off a little bit. Probably both teams actually just slightly below their best at the moment.
Yeah, tough to get to see this in detail in those windows where the game was going on. It wasn't our main featured game. I looked at it. When I looked at it, I thought Cole Palmer, I know, seemed to give the ball away quite a bit. I mean, understandable. He's been out for a while. Yeah. The Delap thing's tough to take, isn't it? If you're Liam Delap and you've had some issues,
it's
and
like
you're back
a shoulder injury or something.
Yeah,
now,
holding his shoulder going out.
Doesn't look great.
It doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. And this is maybe the whole thing with Chelsea, where you sometimes you watch them play and you're like, wow, what a team, what fight, what grit. Yeah. On top of the youthful skill that they buy in, and you sort of think, wow, they're going to be there or thereabouts. They have a couple of games, Rob, but they don't really show up, don't play well. The rotations are many. And the new players, I mean, maybe this is all part of learning, growing, which is, we know they're doing that. I just sometimes when you see them play so well, you're like, oh, here they go, then here they go.
Next
and then you take a couple of steps back. So, again, didn't see it in full detail to be super critical or the real insight of the story of the game. But the results just say, particularly the way the Bournemouth are going, Rob, it's not a great result when you're Chelsea and you want to be right up there. The 5th place right now as we sit here. So, of course, they're in touch. There's a long way to go. It just shows you how, if you want to be a title champion, Robert, it's so hard, isn't it, this league, to show up week in, week out with different players, and you're going to go there and win. And win
against opposition like Bournemouth and Villa and places. I mean, these are decent teams,
Brentford,
mate.
all of them. Difficult. Newcastle, there's just so many difficult games.
Let's go to Newcastle. St James Park. Newcastle 2, Burnley 1. Guimaraes with the Olympico from the corner kick straight in. Gordon gets a penalty, and then late on, Burnley get consolation with a Jean Fleming penalty. Another defeat for Burnley. I think like 6 and 7 or something for Burnley. Things not going particularly well. Lucas Perez with the red card. Newcastle, Rob, got the win, and I think, as importantly, got Johan Wissa a couple of minutes in. It does seem that after all this time, they might finally get another striker on the pitch, which will be an absolute delight to Eddie Howe and the Newcastle fans, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. They've missed that. They've needed it. Voltemader's done pretty well, but he's got a new into it, and it's a pretty emotional club, Newcastle United, and sometimes that takes a lot out of you. We know there's good options in the wide areas. We know that the central midfield of Newcastle is some of the best in the Premier League. And players that have come in, Lewis Miley, Jacob Ramsey's to come in, apart from your Bruno Guimaraes and your Sandro Tonali and your Joe Ellington, and Joe Willox. It's a well-rounded squad, and a run of wins and results is what they need. They're in that group, Rob, right now, where it's mid-table, the 11th, but they're only 4 points to 4th. So, again, I think this is going to take maybe a few more weeks to shuffle out a little bit because it's so tight in there. But Newcastle, they're miles better than 11th, and I think you're going to see it over the next weeks now with players back available, and I think the team will fly up the league.
Absolutely. Let's go to Craven Cottage. And you and Dick are working on the game today. Fulham 1, Palace 2. A late Gay header as the winner. And Nketiah with a really smart finish for first. Harry Wilson with a beautiful goal for Fulham.
Yeah,
lovely, well worked. I mean, very Marco Silva in his build-up. And then Gay with the winner. We almost shouldn't be surprised, should we, that Crystal Palace are fourth in the league with Oliver Glasner, mate, and what this team do, despite selling big players and not having all their best player. Munoz not available today.
They become better.
They get the job done, mate.
They're just in a winning. Like, it's a habit, isn't it? Football's a habit. Right?
Yeah.
And they're in a winning habit. They're finding ways to win. They didn't have anywhere near their best team. They were kind of like happy to drop off the game a little bit in the second half and play on the counter. Fulham are in the losing habit a little bit. They're playing good football. It looks like it's going to go to 1-1, and then a set piece comes in, and Mark Gay climbs in between defenders and wins the game for Crystal Palace. It's like, oh, there they are again. That's another 3 points. And, look at the table. It's like, wow. Crystal Palace after 15 games are a fourth spot. Again, it's super tight. But they're just a durable team that are well organised. Oliver Glasner's done a remarkable job there.
Just talk a little bit about Glasner, Rob, because we know his contract's up. We know that, I believe, my sense would be that he's a little unhappy with the sort of finances being put his way in terms of
the ambitions of the club, isn't it?
Ambition of the club and making it better and being in Europe and pushing on. Almost feels like, I think he came out with a really telling statement recently where we got in Europe and then started to wanting to save money when we should be spending money, and that's the way to improve. Is it going to be the ambition thing that's probably going to mean he moves on more than anything else?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It just feels like if you're a Crystal Palace fan, I'm sure you're actually in utopia right now. If you're a Palace fan, Rob, I'm not sure it's ever been better. It's never been better. You just won an FA Cup. You're in a Champions League spot right now. You're having a brilliant season, and you're seeing some really good football and some great players come to the club. It's just,
So is there a way, if the football club and the ownership, and I know Stephen and some of the staff, the owners there, if they could find the money, the kind of money that Glasner would want, do you think they could persuade him to stay?
Yeah, I think they could. I mean, he has to be a special feeling in the bond that he has with this club after what they've done in the FA Cup final and everything else. But they've got to invest in the squad. He wants to take the club further forward. If you're a manager, I mean, everybody would be the same. We've done brilliant with what we got. Come on. Like, we've got some revenues coming in for this run. Let's push on without being crazy, because, we don't get into trouble. But if they guarantee him some more money, 2 or 3 new players coming in, then he might sign a new contract.
They bought some good players in.
Because the recruitment department's good for the most part. But if they don't, Rob, they'll fear of losing him, and he won't sign a deal. And in the summer, there could be a ton of jobs open, big jobs, and they might lose him. So it'd be really sad to see that. So the club and the owners have got a job to try and keep him happy.
And I can't move any further than for my underappreciated performer of the week, my friend. And it'll be somebody who you won't mention. Nobody ever mentioned his name, Tariq Mitchell. He plays left wing back for Crystal Palace. And he continues, mate, to go from strength to strength. I saw Graham Mustoe picked out today a couple of times where he did exceptionally well. Remember this kid at 21-22 playing under Patrick Vieira. He got his first England call-up. I think he got his first cap. Was voted Palace Young Player of the Year, homegrown, come through the academy. And 3 or 4 years on, he's still part of the squad. He's developing under Glasner. Plays every week, by the way. You like durable players. He plays every week. Yeah. He's improving in the attacking third of the pitch, which wasn't his strength. He's a better defender, but he's improving. We always talk about the back three, and obviously Gay and Lacroix and Richards. And we talk about Munoz on the other side, and we talk about Wharton, and we talk about Saul, and we talk about Mateta. And guess who we never talk about? Tariq Mitchell, my friend.
We don't talk about him, you're right. No.
And he's a little diamond who's probably gives the manager not an ounce of trouble, and on a weekend when we've seen what troubling players can do in a dressing room, he gets on with his job, and I just thought a little mention for somebody who never ever gets a headline.
No, it's very good. It's very good. And when this is the time to mention players like that, Rob, because you're right, people don't talk about him, but when a team's doing so well, right, there's reasons why it's doing well, and different parts in the team are doing their job really well. And you're right, we talk about some of the other players in this team, and he was involved today, Rob, wasn't he? I think with some of the goals on that left-hand side. He's involved in the build-up play. Right. So yeah, I like it. Not a spectacular player, but under a good manager, doing his thing on the left-hand side, and he's got a great engine, goes up and down, doesn't mind a tackle, good defensively. Like it. And Palace, I mean, you've got to like the Palace story right now.
Oh, couldn't like it anymore. Let's go to Brighton for the last game. Brighton 1, West Ham 1. Not the most exciting game, but goals came in the end. Bowen with a lovely finish after the ball from Wilson got played through, and then Rutter scores late on for Brighton. There was some doubt whether it hit his hand, come off his hand before he shoots, Rob.
Yep.
But off the knee to the hand, he knocks it in and goes to VAR. Not a handball was clear, so I know Nuno wasn't too happy about it, but 1-1 about the right result in that one.
Yeah, I was disappointed with Brighton, really, Rob. Another team that when you look at them, the table, it's like, wow. I think they were fifth going into this weekend, and West Ham at home, struggling a little bit. Yeah. A manager of West Ham that just wants to stick to the basics. He's going to invite you on a little bit. You're going to get plenty of the ball. Just expected more tempo from Brighton. And notes here, very poor performance in the first half from Brighton. Second half, it livened up a little bit, particularly when West Ham scored the first goal. It's like it needed West Ham to score to shake Brighton a little bit. And, I mean, there's a horrible, looked wet and windy. It didn't look like there's a full house there, maybe because of the weather. Yeah. I thought they were better with the subs on. Again, teams were having to rotate a little bit. I thought Danny Welbeck was as poor, as quiet as I've seen him a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it was a fair result. And this is what Nuno does, Rob. He grinds. Yeah. He's grinding. He's played fight. He's got.
They'll grind the way out. I kind of feel like
so.
they've got enough in grind, in quality, and sort of the balanced few young legs coming into the team as well. I think Potts, etc. But yeah, a bit disappointing for Brighton, a 1-1 draw. All right, mate, we sort of wrap things up. There's one big game left tomorrow. Wolves play Manchester United. Rob Edwards looking for his first win as Wolves manager. I mean, couldn't do it at home to United, could he? I mean, it'd almost be this season, wouldn't it? Story this season, Wolves get their first win of the week at home to Manchester United. That's tomorrow, 3 p.m. on USA Network. I know you and Lee Dixon are working on that one.
We've got a bet on it, Rob. We've got a bet. We've had bets. We've done match predictors all the way through the weekend.
Okay, well, how are you going?
We're very close. He's leading by a little bit. And our result prediction tomorrow is Lee Dixon's gone Wolves 0, Man United 2. I've gone Wolves 0, Man United 3. So I win the money. If it's 3-0, I win the money. And we're jumping around a little bit. Take money off Lee Dixon. That would be amazing.
Nobody taking a Wolves win. Nobody taking the giant leap of a Wolves win.
Well, in this league, you never know.
Rob Edwards won't be happy. Listen, mate, great weekend. When Arsenal lose and Man City win, Villa and Palace are also in the top 4. We had an Olympico and a Rabona to enjoy. Headlines, though, were Mo Salah's. His very personal, very public rant against the club and the manager. We'll have to wait and see how that one all plays out. But we'll be back next week. That's Sunday, December the 14th, when Arsenal host Wolves and second plays 4th as Man City travel to Crystal Palace. But for now, I'm Earle. He's Mustoe, together with the two Robbies. Thanks for watching and listening. Be safe, stay healthy. It's a good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night.
Good night.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.